Hello and welcome back for another star-studded edition of the Big Mouth Media Podcast. Today we have a special treat for you, a special edition. We're gonna be talking with West Side representative from Sacramento, California, Young Humble. What's good with you?
What's good? What's good? So yes, Young Humble, from California, Sacramento. Pretty much, I'm an entrepreneur slash artist representing Sacktown.
Okay. So, how long have you been an entrepreneur?
I've been an entrepreneur for like 4 years and a half now. Started
Okay,
at the age of
so
16.
oh really? Okay, so
Yeah,
what made you want to get into being an entrepreneur?
pretty much just wanted to do something more serious for our career wise because I started off with basketball. I had big dreams of women NBA, but I knew that that wouldn't get me too far. So I just had an idea of doing a clothing brand. My uncle he inspired me to start a clothing brand. We came up with the name, and pretty much what pushed me is his passing throughout the process of dropping my clothing brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your clothing line.
So remain humble is pretty much about being honest, doing numbers, and just remaining humble through each process, and knowing that failure is the key to success. No matter what you're going through, just don't give up and keep on going. And it pretty much
Okay.
speaks for itself. In any gender or could wear it. It's for everybody. Just to remain humble at all times, no matter what the situation is.
Okay. So upon you coming up, with the clothing line, um, how was the process for you when you first came up with the clothing line?
The first process, it was hard. Like I said, in the process of starting it, I didn't really have any guidance, or I really didn't know anything about the clothing industry until my uncle came up with the idea. His son is also a big artist, so that's kind of what pushed me to start my own brand. So it was hard. And then knowing that he passed during the process, it was hard. I had no like guidance or anything. But until someone named Anthony, known as Steezy, he picked me up and pretty much pushed me to start my brand, and I just took off from there. So it was a hard process, but I'm still going, I'm still pushing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as you being a business owner, what would you say are the highs and lows as being a business owner?
Just accepting that it doesn't happen overnight, pretty much, and knowing that it's going to be obstacles throughout the whole process, and just trusting the process and accepting it for what it is, knowing what you sign up for, pretty much.
Okay. So, how have you been able to market your clothing line to the masses?
As far as marketing, just mostly Instagram, social media is a big marketing for me.
Okay. So, do you do pop-up shops?
Yeah, I do a lot of pop up shops. I just actually got back from a pop up shop in Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, that was my first time going to Atlanta. It was a cool experience. So yeah, I've been doing a few pop ups. That's pretty much how I've been getting myself out there as well as pop up events.
Okay. So, how was that for you in the ATL? Because that's the Black Mecca.
Right.
Atlanta's like probably like 87% Black. So, like, how was it for you connecting with the down south entrepreneurs?
It was different, very different, because down in California, Sacramento, it's like we're very versatile. So going there with like just straight blacks is just like it was different. Like the support was really different versus down here in California. So I could say.
So, how was the support different from ATL to Cali?
I feel like in ATL they're pretty much like their style is different, and my brand pretty much gets is straight to the point. But I could tell like they more into like the graffiti, the graphics type, and my brand is not really like that. It's just like I said, straight to the point. So the support is like out there. I feel like they like stuck on what they like. Out here in California, I feel like they don't mind trying new stuff, but out there, I just feel like it was just straight like what they like. Yeah.
Okay. So, could you see your brand being marketed in ATL? Because there's a lot of entertainers, a lot of stars, a lot
Right.
of big time people in ATL. So, is that something that you would want to do? Is launch your brand to a well known person out in ATL?
Yeah, of course. I have a few artists that work my brand in Atlanta, a few big artists. So I do see my brand, going far in ATL, but it's just like I feel like I have to run into the right people out there, the right connections. Yeah.
Okay, so how important is branding your clothing line within the college circuit?
Uh, I feel like it's really important, like I said, to get straight to the point, and it's a message behind it, and I just want everyone to know that message and to be able to stand on it, to know that like they're not alone. So it's really important, and this is where I started off in Cali, so it's important.
Okay, okay, and so for you understanding how business moves and understanding the structure of business, do you have a budget analysis that you want to, if you do this margin of sales this quarter, how are you willing to increase the margin of sales for the next quarter?
Pretty much as far as that budgeting and sales, I pretty much been going based off of like how gas, for example, going up, how my brand's going to go up. Pretty much like trying to keep it like a cool price range for people to be able to buy it and support the brand and stuff like that. So it depends.
Okay, okay, okay. And
Yeah.
so, upon you being in Sacramento, have you hit all areas of California with pop-up shops?
No, not really. So far, I just hit like Vegas. I mean, I hit LA just so far, not too far, and mostly out here.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so I
So,
hit I hit Vegas. I hit I hit all over, and
okay. So what was that like in Vegas? I mean, because
Vegas.
that's a
I enjoy Vegas. Vegas, I feel like is like down here, Sacramento. I enjoy Vegas. It's very versatile. The people I could
excuse me.
say is like out here, so I enjoy Vegas. I have a lot of connections down in Vegas and also LA.
Right. I have a homie out in Cali by the name of Unique Armor, and I'll definitely plug you with her. She's a
Okay.
she's a pretty dope MC as well. So, you know, definitely y'all can talk about some business as far as the clothing line, about doing some music together because she's a dope artist too. So you know what I
Okay.
mean? Yeah, and her dad and mom is the owners of the People's TV Network, which they just added a movie on Lifetime. And so,
Okay.
I don't know if you want to maybe get you a brand in some of the movies and stuff like that, but that's something that you should definitely shoot for.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty much open to any opportunity. Like I'm always willing to learn. It's always enough space for learning. So yeah, pretty much I'm down for whatever. Is she like a younger artist, or
Yeah,
could you say
she
her
is.
mom and dad?
I think she's about 25, 26, something like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So upon you having this clothing brand, you have an event coming up, right?
Do I have an event coming up?
Uh,
No, I just came from an event.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
so,
working towards styling right now in the LA Fashion Week towards the end of this
mm,
month. Yeah.
okay, so that's what I was speaking of. So,
Okay.
um, tell us about LA Fashion Week. Cause everybody talks about New York Fashion Week a lot. Some people talk about LA Fashion Week, but I
Right.
need to hear from somebody that's going to be really moving and grooving in LA Fashion Week. Tell us about
Well,
LA Fashion Week and how that would kind of help your brand go to the next level.
so far I never really been to one. So I think this is gonna, put like it's gonna push me, to like go far with this, and I feel like that it's a big opportunity. And like I said, I'm based in California, and I feel like Los
Mhm.
Angeles is like, that's where the stars are at. That's where people, mainly based off. When you say you're from Cali, they mostly think you're from LA. So I think my brand will grow off of this event at the end of this month, as far as LA Fashion Week. But it's my first time going to a LA Fashion Week.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about customers, customer service, customer relationships,
Right.
customer retention. So, how important is that aspect of customer service to you when being an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur, as far as customers, I think customer service is everything. You want to, of course, make sure your customers want to come back and support, and just make sure they're happy with their product at the end of the day. And that's why with my clothing brand, quality is important for me, as far as my customers, just making them happy and actually,
Mhm. Excuse
getting
me.
the message of the clothing brand. So customers is very important. I'm still learning customer service, good customer service. That's why I still work on the side to grow that, because that also don't happen overnight. Coming into just starting a brand and becoming an entrepreneur, not having no guidance. So I'm still in the process of learning good customer service, but I definitely have it there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, as far as you selling your clothes online, do you have a website? You have a blog about your clothes? So how does that work for you?
So far as my website, I'm in the process of remodeling my website. When I did drop my website, I was still getting like a lot of orders, like Cash App, Venmo. It was a lot of that, so it was kind of like when I first started, it was like a waste of website, paying for it month to month. So I kind of just took it off for a while, and I just was going selling it off of Instagram a lot. But I am in the process of dropping my website, and it will be dropping at the end of this month. So yeah,
Hmm.
so pretty much
So
word of mouth and social media.
okay, so explain to me how you market yourself on Instagram and what has worked for you as far as the marketing strategy on IG.
Far as the marketing on social media, I feel like posting and just tagging like a lot of big like artists and tagging, and then hashtags. I feel like hashtags is everything. I'm still learning like what good hashtags to put up under something, to catch the eye of attention, and that pretty much is how I've been marketing my clothing brand.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So upon doing the clothing brand, and you was a hoop star growing up,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I,
So,
I played,
so
since I was 6 years old as well. Yeah,
okay, okay. So let's talk about you being a hoop star. Because I need all the hot tea. I need all the tea. Yeah, for real, for real. So let's talk about you being a hoop star and what position you played and how did you grow to love the game as well.
So far as basketball, I started when I was 6 years old. I loved basketball. I just came into the game just knowing what to do. I was a point guard and a shooting guard. My main thing was shooting guard. Like you would pass me the ball, I'll shoot it. Um, I never really was the one to take it to the rack. I never liked to take it to the rack of getting injured. That was my biggest fear. So I was always mostly into like being a shooting guard. And then, far as when it came to like middle school and high school playing, what threw me off balance, as far as that, was the grades. I couldn't keep up with the schoolwork and the grades. Like I kind of struggled with school, so that's what really threw me off the game of basketball. But I loved basketball. Yeah,
Mm, mm.
yeah.
So is there any WNB players or regular NBA players that you want to market your brand to? Like who would who would be five players in the NBA and five players in the WNBA that you would want to market your brand to?
Well, NBA, I'll say LeBron, Curry, um, mainly those two. Like I don't really watch. I mean, I watch them, but I don't really like, like I don't really watch them. The women NBA, I don't really watch it, but those two mainly, I would want to like brand my clothing brand. Mainly Curry and LeBron, out of everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they that deal. So you know, I can dig that. So I understand that you're a recording artist as well, and
right.
so let's talk about how your clothing brand, you know, uh, connects with your music.
Pretty much telling my story, what I can't express through my clothing brand, express it through my music.
Okay, okay. So how long have you been doing music?
Just for like 3 years now. Like I do it here and there. Like if I'm like going through emotions or anything, or I have any doubt or I need some type of courage, I just go in the studio, write a song, and just listen to my own music.
So where can people find you with the music? So you have videos out, you on all digital platforms, or how can people find you?
I'm on YouTube, Young Humble, and then I'm also on SoundCloud, Young Humble as well. YUNG Humble, YUNBL. So you can find me on both of those. I have videos out, yeah, and I also have music called Dreams to
Okay.
Reality.
Dreams to reality.
Yeah.
That's a pretty swift and swagged out title right there. So
Yeah, just
So
trying to turn my dreams into realities. Pretty much just standing on what I'm talking about. Pretty much.
okay, okay. So since you're a young entrepreneur, I always have to get into what do you think, like what do you see in society and the challenges that young people are faced with? How you feel like your clothing line and your music brand could really change the reality of the way you know young people see society because it's rough right now.
Right.
We've seen young kids get murdered. We've seen a lot of black people go through police brutality. You got a heavy end on sex trafficking is real heavy right now. So
Right.
so with your clothes, being having a message behind them, are you looking to connect with nonprofits and are you doing any what we call youth sessions where you actually talk to your peers about what's going on?
Right. So far as that, like you said, it's a lot going on right now in this world. I feel like in my peers, as far as younger teenagers, I feel like my brand will could speak to them, if they actually, look at it, get the message. And I feel like it's really important because as me growing up, being based off of like material stuff and I, like just being built off of material love and stuff, I just feel like I want teenagers to know that like it's okay, like, real love is okay and to have self love, mostly important to humble themselves. And you don't always have to fit in, to be somebody. And that's what I had to also learn myself is that I didn't never had to fit into, be someone to become successful. And just to know failure is the key to success. You have to fail to succeed. And through life there's gonna always be, an obstacle that you have to get over and face. And I feel like that's another thing a lot of people have with accepting stuff for what it is and growing up, young, trying to be in the music industry and the clothing. I think they fear that people are not going to like it or they're not good enough. And I also had those doubts because I always had hate growing up for what I had. So that's pretty much what I had to face. Dropping my brand, I didn't expect it to go this far, and I also didn't expect people to like my brand for what it is. So just facing your fear and just having that courage, no matter what.
So among with you promoting that brand and you doing well with it, um, what type of pieces should we be expecting from you, like new pieces?
As far as new pieces, summer wear, of course, is coming up very fast, and expecting a new logo. I'm trying to come out with something new now that they're like remain humble, just the cursive, like right here. It was pretty much, trying to get the message out of there. So now that they understood the message, just coming up with more logos.
Mm, okay, okay, okay. So exactly what type of logos are you looking for?
That I'm not sure right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like I said, I'm just with the cursive, the remain humble. Then I have the lion logo. Then I have the car logo on my shirt. Because that was popular, graphic tees. So pretty much going with the wave.
Oh, so what all sizes do you go up to?
3X.
Okay then. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
3X for
okay.
yeah, I pretty much yeah. And if I don't have the size, I make it happen.
Oh, okay then. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
do a lot of custom orders and stuff like that. I try to accept the feedback and whatever they like, I try to customize around that as well.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have your own like press machine, or do you do it yourself, or you send it off to a company get it made? Like, how does that work for you?
For me, I have a wholesale. I go to a wholesale in LA, and I also have a wholesale in Lodi, California. And I go to I have a factory where they press all my stuff up. That's another thing. A lot of people ask me like, am I pressing up myself? Because I know a lot of brand owners. That's
Mhm.
kind of like the easy way out to press it up themselves. But I'm big on quality. And when I first started, I used to my cousin used to press it up for me, and I didn't really like the turnout. It peels. It doesn't last for long. So I get it all pressed up, all done. Yeah, in the factories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other items do you have as far as t-shirt, fitted hats, hoodies, jogging suits? Like, what all you have?
Yeah, I have sets. I have zip ups. I have hoodies. I have hats, beanies. I pretty much have everything. Trying to lead into like doing socks and stuff like that, socks and underwear. Yeah.
Okay. And so, with that being said, what can we expect next?
Next, more music. I feel like my brand is going in the right direction that I wanted to go in. So I just expect more music.
Okay, more music. So, are you working on a new EP or new LP or a whole album?
I want to work. I'm working on a whole EP right now. Yeah.
Okay. So,
So yeah.
any well-known producers that we may know?
Well, I've been in contact lately with Waka Flocka. For his like people, that's where also went to ATL for. Far as any other producers, I've been staying local with within my area with a few upcoming producers. But yeah, as far as like big people, Waka Flocka, I've been working with his people. I don't know if you know name someone named Jimmy the Rocket.
Right. I know who Jimmy is.
You know Jimmy?
Yeah. I've been in the
Okay.
industry for a long time, so yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
familiar. I'm familiar with Jimmy.
Yeah, so I've been working with Jimmy the Rocket so far, and he's been helping me, guiding me, trying to give me more connections as far as that.
Hmm.
But like I said, as far as the producers, I've been just staying local within my area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, when you first started doing music, did you drop a mixtape?
No, I just dropped. I did. I wrote my own song and just dropped it. Yeah, it was a
Okay.
freestyle to a
It was
Meek
a
Mill type
freestyle.
beat. Yeah, I'm into like Meek Mill type music, so it was a Meek Mill type beat freestyle.
Oh, so you're a Meek fan?
Yeah, I'm a Meek Mill fan. Yeah, I like Meek Mill
Okay.
because I like
Yeah,
how he speak. So if you listen to my music, it's more of a speaking than just like just rapping or fast about this. It's really my story speaking. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Meek hot though. I've been following Meek since he had the cornrows back in Philly. So yeah, Meek hot. Yeah, long time.
Yeah, I like
So
Meek
uh,
Mill music.
so okay, Meek. When he first came out, Meek was like, rah, you know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
he transitioned into this businessman and this guy for the community. So what do you think about that?
I think it's dope how he transitioned and have the same love and same support that he had when he first came out. So I think his transition stage like was needed, much needed. After his last album, I feel like it was much needed, and I
Yeah,
actually
cause
feel like he's better than before.
yeah, yeah,
Most
he's doing a
definitely,
lot.
yeah,
He's
he's
doing a lot.
definitely showing growth. So I could say that, yeah.
Yeah. So
And I
are
have
you
a quick
looking at what
question: is this live on YouTube as well?
it is?
Okay, yeah, because people have been texting me asking about the live, if it's on YouTube.
It is.
Okay, for sure.
Mhm. And so with that being said, is Meek somebody that you're looking to work with?
Of course, I would love to work with Meek Mill. If I could work with anybody, it would be Meek Mill. And another artist I like is Lucci. That's also one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, Lucha in a little bit trouble right now though.
I know, I know
Yeah.
Lucci. Well, yeah, if not Lucci, for surely. I met No Cap. You know No Cap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I spoke with him on FaceTime. My when I did have management, he connected us a little bit. So that's also those are my top three: Lucci, Meek Mill, and No Cap for sure.
Okay. So what about Cali artists?
I don't really have none. Like,
Nah.
nah, I like them artists over there.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you like a Meek from Philly, but he lived down south. So you like down south artists,
Yeah, I like down south because I feel like they speak more. Like Cali people, I feel like they just everybody want to be heard. Everybody want to,
right?
rap about the same stuff. But down south, they didn't really been through some stuff to where they could speak on and you could feel it for sure.
Right. So you would never want to work with Schoolboy, Kendrick, or Ab Soul, or cats like that.
I work with anybody. If the opportunity's in front of me, I'll take it. But far as being my favorite and my dream, it'll be like down south. I like down south artists because they really speak. Yeah.
Okay. So could you ever see yourself living down south?
No, not after going to not after going to ATL. No.
But listen though, like that one experience for you. But ATL big, man. Like you actually have to be in the city for like at least a couple weeks to really experience it. For real,
Yeah,
for
that's
real.
what a lot of people was telling me. It's like I have to be around the right
Yeah,
people and actually experience it because a lot of people is coming down south that's not really from Atlanta. So I have to just probably experience it again and try it. And everything was moving so fast paced, and I was there just for 4 days. So I'll probably
yeah.
give it another shot. But as far as living down there so far, no, I appreciated Cali when I got back.
But when it comes to you in Atlanta being the Black Mecca, that's the fact that would probably be the fastest way for your line to blow up. Just
Right,
just cause there's so many people, it's so many film directors, so many athletes, so many entertainers, and just like it'll just I feel like it'll help your line blow up.
right,
And you already connecting with some people in the eight, so you know what I mean, you're doing good.
right.
You're doing good. So
Yeah. Right now, I'm just trying, networking more. That's something that I need to practice on. Is networking more often,
mhm.
checking out each
so
state, each city.
so what's another state you want to go to?
Mm, so far, I don't. So far, I don't know right now. Atlanta's somewhere I really wanted to go.
I
That's
think you probably do well in Miami too.
Miami. Yeah, I have my merch in Miami. A few people wear my merch out there. I've actually been to
Uh-huh.
Miami, but I haven't been out there for a business trip. But I've been out there for a few days just to visit.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So it seems like as far as what a lot of people don't know, a place that's popping, man. Arizona is really popping.
You say Arizona?
Yes,
Yes, Arizona. I went.
yeah,
To, I
it's
had.
popping.
That's my first pop up when I first left out of Cali was Arizona. I enjoyed Arizona for sure.
Yeah, man. You got Tucson, you got Phoenix. Like those places be popping. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I
There's a
went to
lot going.
Phoenix. The love down there is I like. I enjoy Arizona. I went down there last year for a pop up event. I sold out, so that was a dope experience going out there. The hospitality was A1 out there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. So I'm just thinking, since you used to be a hoop star, and summertime is coming up, you know, the young humble, blacktop. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
cause you got to think, a lot of kids, play AAU basketball, and so if you can be a sponsor for a tournament or even throw your own tournament, they gonna come. You know what I mean? Especially when you're out there in SAC because you're well known.
right.
So if you put something together like that, and that's another way for you to market your brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Oh,
would be
yeah.
actually a cool idea. I've always thought about that, starting like a kids camp for as basketball and stuff.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
always
so,
thinking of
so
something, a new plan. I'm always trying to come up with something as long as I stay busy and stay at it.
right, 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 right. So
Yeah.
have you been attending any type of artist showcases and wearing your brand to artist showcases and stuff like that?
So far, like Atlanta, are you saying like the recent one, or are you saying just in general?
I'm just saying in general, like as far as like I know down south, they have a lot of music showcases for like independent artists.
Oh yeah,
And,
no.
and
Far no, as far as music, just down here in Cali, like I go to a lot of open mics out down here in Cali. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. And so how's them like what's the music culture like in Sacramento?
Sacramento. I feel like everyone out here. I feel like is like rap about gang banging a lot. Females rap a lot about like about dudes, guys, what they've been through. So the culture out here, I don't. I feel like I could bring something different down here in Sacramento, as far as music wise, culture wise, because they don't really speak on their story. I feel like it's like
Okay,
I feel
so
like down here it's like a lot of wannabes when they could just be themselves and tell their story.
okay, so with that being said, what different aspect do you want to bring to the culture? As far as like with you being a young entrepreneur, man. Like, how do you want to change the narrative when it comes to the music scene?
Since I'm still fresh into it, I just pretty much just wanting to change as far as like I said, getting the message out there. The one that like when you rap, just rap your story and let it be pure, like pretty much.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
do you?
I can't speak too much on the music industry. I know people is really in the music. I'm just doing it, just to stay busy and stay at it. But as far as if I like took it serious to another level, just the culture, as far as like speaking, like I said, like Meek Mill, how he speak to his people, where people could feel it and relate to it and stuff.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty dope. So with that being said, when it comes to you getting publicity for your brand, how has that been for you? So you only so you've been in business for about 4 years,
Yeah, 4 years and a half.
4 years and a half. So you're coming up on your fifth year,
Yeah.
and so how has that publicity been for you as far as people in the community and people around the city of Sacramento knowing who you are and knowing what your brand represent?
Like how is it far as like do I get stopped? Are you saying like do I get stopped? People ask like am
Right,
I known?
right, right, right. How are people connecting with you?
They connecting. A lot of people they don't really approach me, but like they'll see me. They'll like for example, I used to work at Foot Locker. They'll like text. They'll look at me and stuff. Like when I'm helping with sales, they'll text me like I just seen you. Like the love is there, but they like it's like they scared to approach me. I don't know if it be my face, I'd be serious or whatnot, but they be scared to approach me. But most of the fans and stuff, the people out here show a lot of love. Out here in Sacramento, when they see me, they know that that's Remain Humble.
Oh,
Yeah.
so do you have any merchandise close by that you can put on the screen and show us?
No, but I have a T-shirt on. Remain Humble. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's all upstairs in my office.
okay, okay. That's pretty
Yeah.
dope. That's pretty dope. So you said in your office. Okay, so this leads me to ask you: do you want to really own a storefront, or is that something in your plans?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if you heard of Shop Smart in Sacramento, but I had a store in there, like a family owned business in there. It was like a lot of different cubicles of people in there. And right now we're working on opening up a store, so I will be having a storefront very soon, actually, and probably in about like
Okay,
2 months. We're working on it, yeah. So I will have a storefront,
okay, okay. So
yeah. But my merchandise have been in the store.
it seems like that you may even want to franchise this company. Is that something that you want to do? Franchise the company so maybe people can buy into the company. Have you thought about that as yet?
No, not just yet, but I have thought about like for I have an offer from like Forever 21 and Zoomies, as far as putting my brand inside of there. And I know
Uh-huh.
that that's an opportunity where they can ask the buyer, franchise or into that. So I know that could be an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's go. That's dope, man. That's dope. That's real dope, man. So with you being a entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur at that, you know, a lot of young entrepreneurs, they know how to go get it. But
Right.
as far as the longevity of it and understanding the tax brackets and understanding the things that's out there like with your local chamber of commerce and like different events that you can go to as far as citywide that a lot of people may not know about. But if you connect with your local chamber of commerce, you really know about events that's taking place. So, do you connect with your local chamber of commerce to really understand the events that's going to be in the city that you can be involved in?
So far I've connected with Stephon Clark's brother.
That name sound familiar.
Yeah, his I connected with Stephon Clark's brother. He been directing me with a few events, but that like I said, I'm still learning, networking. I'm still just trying to push myself out there to network to get to that point to where,
Uh,
I'm on game of what's going on this date, and that date. So yeah.
so you connect with any of the Sacramento Kings players?
No, I have not.
That would
Yeah.
be big for you, for
Yeah.
sure.
Right. As far as
You
like
know.
someone that came up out of California, Sacramento, I've connected with Keith Powers. That's a close family friend, as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's close
Yeah.
with the Kings players. So yeah. I just been waiting my turn, opportunities come across. Like I said, I'm still in the learning process, still, just staying at it so I can get to that point.
Okay. Have you released a national press release as yet
No,
about
not
your
yet.
company? That's definitely something you definitely need to do.
Right.
You
Yeah,
definitely
that's my
need to do it.
biggest thing is knowing and needing more connects. I don't have that many connects. Being an independent entrepreneur, doing it by myself, and like I said, my story, I started off with two of the people that's not here no more that had the connects. So I'm still learning, like slowly and gradually in the business aspect of everything, as far as having a clothing brand and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just freestyling it, doing it by myself, really.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So with you building connects, do you have your a company page on LinkedIn or anything like that?
No.
You should, because that's a business professional site. You know what I mean?
Okay. And what is that
A lot.
exactly?
LinkedIn. It's
Okay.
a it, it's a site that a lot of business professionals use. That a lot of business professionals are on there, and they use the site to network,
Okay.
and 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 you can build a lot of traction, by networking with business professionals that's in your field.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that you should definitely use. So, have you been in any type of magazines? You have any magazine features or no?
No. I don't have any no.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you're in luck because I write for Access Magazine out in South Carolina, and
Oh,
so I
okay.
I, I definitely connect with you on IG
Right.
and send you a message and definitely try to plug you with a few people and whatnot in the film industry as well, and maybe a few artists out in the Carolinas that can represent your brand and become a brand ambassador for you.
Okay.
If you're interested in that.
Yeah, I'm interested. Like I said, I'm still young, still learning, still growing, and open for any opportunity that come my way. I'm always open for business. My DMs is always open. Yeah.
Okay, so if there's any nonprofit that you would connect with, what type of charities do you want to connect with?
Far as what?
As far as helping your grand bro grow, excuse me, and giving back to charities and going to different events, whether it's the Cancer Society or kids with autism, or like what type of charities or nonprofits would you like to connect with?
Um. Yeah. I would want to connect with like the kids that have cancer, or like um kids that are like adopted, anything like that, or that's going through anything. Like I would like to connect with like those type of kids, more the younger generation.
Right, 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 right. So you
Yeah.
would like to connect with foster kids, kids that's going through cancer, kids that have autism and things of that nature, right?
Right. Yeah. I would love to do that. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, okay. So are you are you open for speaking engagements as well? Because you're a young entrepreneur. And
Right.
so what you have done and you coming up on your fifth year, that's pretty impressive. And
Right.
so are you are you open with talking to the youth about being a young entrepreneur?
Yeah, I would love to talk to the youth, and that's why I've been like, I love to join podcasts because I'm able to, speak on what I don't normally get to speak about, or tell my story. So I would love to come out and speak to the youth. Yeah, that would be something I would love to do.
Right. It seems like you should be writing a book, because there's a lot of insight that you can give people as far as young entrepreneurship, and
Right.
and how you navigate and stuff like that. It seems like you can drop some jewels. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's where the music come in at. That I'm like, how can I tell my story? How can I, because you don't really can't really on Instagram tell your story all day long and all that. You got to keep it professional and stuff like that. But I like to talk about the more inner stuff, like and speak. I love to speak to the youth and stuff, and also knowing that another thing that's big. I feel like is also depression. Far as entrepreneurs, I feel like that's another thing I would love to speak about. Is like a lot of entrepreneurs go through depression, but make everything look like it's all good. But that's another thing I know a lot of artists and entrepreneurs go through as well.
It's funny you say that. So, what aspect would you want to talk about on depression? Is it mental depression, emotional depression, financial depression, spiritual depression, or like what aspect would you want to talk about that when it comes to being an entrepreneur?
I would say like mental health. I feel like mental health is very, very important. That's something that could take over if you let it. And as far as me growing up, becoming a young entrepreneur, and like I said, having the backup, but not having them here no more. And one of the guys that was my backup, due to suicide, not here anymore. So that's something I will really would love to speak on is mental health, because also, me growing up with six brothers, being the only girl, trying to, come up with my clothing brand and stuff, that's something also that I battle, but I let my positive defeat the negative, if that makes sense. That's
It
what
does.
that's what holds me up.
It does. It does. It
Right.
does. Yeah. With the positive feeding the negative, that's a winning recipe.
Right.
And being that, well, a lot of people don't really realize it, but in the last 10 years, the teen suicide rate has been up through the roof, and so there is a need for someone like you to be vocal
Right.
about what's happening and to be vocal about the bullying that kids go through,
Right.
because a lot of kids are bullied through school and their parents maybe never know it, and
Hmm.
sometimes that bullying causes suicide as well. And so what would you tell a kid that's getting bullied through school?
um that's that's pretty hard, because I feel like when you're getting bullied, like it's like it's kind of hard to tell someone, like how to cope with them getting bullied. If that makes sense. Because parents will be like, don't listen to them. They'll tell them everything, but what they're getting actually told, and getting bullied for. Because growing up, like I said, I've always had everything, always been spoiled, but always got bullied in a way of, oh, she thinks she got it all, and getting pushed up on and stuff like that. So it's like hard to tell a kid how to cope with bullying. Besides, a parent just protecting their kid and just letting them know that everything's gonna be okay, pretty much. But when your mental health gets in the way, it's like it's hard to put that in your mind that everything's gonna be okay. It's something that you have to accept yourself and pretty much go through.
Yeah, because I read some horrific articles about kids getting bullied, man, and it's really
Right.
sad.
Yeah.
So, and then I also read some horrific articles about suicide.
Right.
As far as and people don't realize, man. Like if somebody is has overdose from drug usage, that's a form of suicide.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like we had no idea that Mac Miller, was heavy on the pills like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mac Miller was one of my favorite artists, dope artist, man, real
Yeah, he's
dope.
dope.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we had no idea, man, and then a lot of people don't know, man, that we don't really know what they go through mentally or what they go through emotionally or even spiritually.
Right.
It'd be so many people that make it so far in life, they make millions of dollars, but they just so unhappy.
Right. And
You
that's
know,
where I don't want to reach to. Like I said, I would love to like speak on it because I accept it for what it is, and like I said, going through my brand, it's not always easy. It's not always the best thing, yeah, I'm traveling, yeah, I'm young, yeah, I'm getting the look, known for it, but mental health is very important. That's something that you have to protect, and that's something I'm also dealing with and accepting for. Like I said, right now is mental health. That's very very important. Yeah.
Right. And you know, we should continue to educate ourselves on mental health and read up on it because it's very important and it's not being taught enough in the black household. And
Right.
so why do you think that mental health is not talked about enough in the black household?
Mm, I don't know. I really don't know why it's not talked about enough, but I do know that it needs to be talked about. And like I said, for example, people like me that thought about it or tempted it. I feel like that's something important that people should talk about. That's something that should be brought to it. And that's why I said that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. I want to bring out something that people are not speaking on that need to be spoke on. As far as like mental health or just bringing a different culture, and that's what keeps me here, and that's what keeps me going. Because I feel like I can be the one to, not save everybody, but I can at least, if I'm not speaking, at least speak to one person at least to know that it's okay. So yeah,
Right. So with that being said, it's very important that we talk about it, and
mm,
I'm so glad to hear you say that that's how you want to transition your clothing line and your music to a higher level
right,
through the aspects of social injustice, mental health, bullying, and just connecting with people on a different spiritual form where where you talk to them about having that positive mindset and why they should have that positive mindset. And so I just want to thank you for that, man. I really, really do so. And
yeah,
so for those that want to get in contact with you, can you give us your social media handles and all the above, please?
yeah. For you guys can contact me at Remain Humble Clothing on Instagram. On all platforms, it's Remain Humble Clothing. YouTube, you can check my music out, Remain Humble or Young Humble. My music is called Dreams to Reality on SoundCloud. So yeah, you can find me on all platforms. Remain Humble Clothing. My icon is a lion when it pops up. Yeah, I'm free, to speak with whoever. My DMs
Okay,
are always
okay,
open. Opportunities are always open. I'm willing to work, and I'm just trying to change the culture and bring something different, starting at a young age to now. So yeah,
okay. I appreciate it. I appreciate
right.
that. You're young, humble man, Sacramento, California, Big Mouth Media Podcast. We want to thank her for coming, blessing us. And if you don't mind me asking your age, young humble, how old are you?
I'm 21.
21. Had her clothing line for 5 years, and she's making strides and new heights every day. So
Right.
I just want to congratulate you on that.
I appreciate it, and thanks for the
So
opportunity as well.
you're welcome, not a problem. So
Right.
I definitely want to have you back. So
Okay.
just want to say that y'all go get it her. You go get it her on IG, man. Like
Right.
go cop that. You know what I'm saying? And she have the website coming back really, really soon. And so go cop that, vibe with her, shop with her, artist. She's open to collabs,
Right.
even though she's in Cali, that don't mean that she won't collab with you if you're in New York or you're in Atlanta or you in South Carolina or you in DC. She open to collab. So, let's get that business going. Let's get to work and let's definitely show her love and support her. I want to
Right.
thank you once again for coming through, and I'll definitely be in touch.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right.